Hello, my dear church boys, and welcome back to Saint Robert's Daygame Pickup Podcast. And in this episode, I want to talk about why very often when you see how other daygamers, good daygamers, do their sets, how they're daygaming, and you try to repeat what they're doing, it doesn't work. In daygame, very often what works for experienced day gamers is very, very different from what you should do as a beginner. When you see experienced day gamers approach in videos or in real life, it seems so easy. Girls are stopping, staying in sets, hooking, investing. Well, a few days ago, I finished coaching session with a student here in Prague, a student from New York City, and I had myself done 7 sets, and I told him I'll do 3 more sets on my own. But well, if you want, you can watch my sets and you can listen to my sets. And he saw me going on an instant date with the first girl I opened, and a few hours later got a text from me saying, "Just finished banging chick you saw me open." Crazy start for our trip. At the same time, when he was opening, chicks wouldn't stop. I was stopping my sets from back, from the side, which isn't in theory a good open. You should be in front. Well, he was stopping them being very much in front of them, and still I didn't get a single blowout in these days, and half of his stops were blowouts. So in this podcast episode, I want to talk why it is like that, why the way you learn day game is very much different from what actually works in day game for experienced day gamers. And about the student, well, he's fine now. I gave him a homework. He went out on his own. He did 10 sets on his own, and he learned to do much better sets on his own, and he got plenty of numbers. And right now, his numbers are responding even better than mine are. So if you keep going out and you keep getting blowouts and you kind of keep repeating what you see other day gamers do and it just doesn't work, it just doesn't click, then this podcast episode is for you. Well, but before we get into the serious stuff, let's just talk about how this Prague trip has been going and some wild stories that have happened here that I've started telling in the group chat. But several guys asked me, "Hey, what happened? Tell us a report." And I said, "I will explain it. I'll tell this in the next podcast episode that I record." So I arrived in Prague a few days back, and on the first day, I arrived late in the evening. I went to the grocery store, to the shopping mall, Palladium shopping mall, just to do 1 set so that I've done it. And it's a tradition, as soon as I arrive in a city, I'll always try to do the first set as soon as possible, preferably on the way from airport to my Airbnb. But well, that was just a warm-up day, just to do 1 set. And I went out on the next day, basically my first day here, to do 10 sets. I did 10 sets in a bit more than 2 hours. Middle of the day was, I think, Friday. I might be wrong. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I think it was Friday. And I went home, rested. I was pretty tired after 10 sets. And in the evening, I just didn't want to stay in. And I thought, well, I will go for a little walk. Maybe I'll do some sets if I see someone really cute. And I saw this really cute, kind of tallish chick, very beautiful, very nice body, just walking really fast and kind of angrily down the street with his cigarette. And really, like, when you've heard me use the resting bitch face stack, I really, like, it was this kind of a set. So I opened her, she was very receptive. She closed the distance so close that it felt too close, like, for me. I wasn't used to talking with girls that are so close to me. It was literally, I don't know, 30 40 centimeters, crazy close, and Bambi eyes and everything, incredible. And she turned out to be local. She's an international Czech model. He obviously teased her about how whether she's an Instagram model or a real model. Turns out a real model. And well, 5 7 minutes later, we are going on an Insta date. and to a bar right next to my place. And we had two drinks, I think two drinks each there. And I suggested a pool, and she didn't go for it, but she was on. The conversation was really good. So we did one more venue, we did one more drink, and then I suggested pool one more time. I did one more venue to build more comfort. There are many cases where I wouldn't do one more venue if I feel it's not possible, but in this case, I just thought she needs a bit more comfort and I can pull her. And boom, we ended up at my place, and I didn't get very far at my place because she was fine with going to my place, but it just wasn't going to happen. So 30 minutes later, she left. All we did was a nice little kiss, and that's it. So that's my first day in Prague. The second day, I go out, I do my sets, and after I finish coaching my student, I I go out to do three more sets, as I told previously, and I see this tiny, cute Russian chick that's definitely a tourist. So I open her, and she's a solo traveler, 18 years old, first time on a solo trip without her family. So she basically suggested the idea because she asked me what I'm doing. I said, "Oh, I just finished work, so I just wanted to go for a walk to clear my mind a bit, get a takeaway coffee maybe." And she just says, "Well, I'm walking, you're walking, we can walk together." And we did a bit of sightseeing because I just wanted to clear my head and maybe grab a takeaway coffee, which I suggested. But no, we did a bit of sightseeing. We saw this main square with the astronomical clock, and after that we went for some drinks. We did. I think we did two venues, and everything was really on. She was very shy, but like you could see that she's shy, kind of lost in life, thinking about what she wants to do with her life. Doesn't want to live in Russia, wants to move to Prague, but it's so hard to move because of visas. Blah 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 blah. Uh, well, as soon as I suggest uh, educating her in stand-up comedy or something like that, I think I use stand-up comedy to pull. Boom, we go to mine. And well, basically, as soon as we start kissing at my place, I expected a short, quiet, like chill kiss, but it was just an explosion, boom. And well, shortly after, uh, I'm in a very cute 18-year-old Russian with nice, perky tits. It was an amazing day. And well, the next day I wake up fairly hungover. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do much day game. But well, I have to coach, so I have to do day game. And but I have a date set up with one Russian chick, with another Russian chick that lives here and has been living here for 5 years. 22-year-old, cute Russian chick, and she keeps acting a bit of like a princess over text. She is asking, "Where are we gonna go?" And I say, "Oh, there's this nice bar next to my place." And she says, "Oh, I don't like bars." To which I respond, "Don't worry, I will find the worst bar in Prague." So basically, agree and amplify. Um, she Yeah, I think she did some more frame testing, but oh, and she asks me because I speak fluent Russian. So with Russians, I do my dates in Russian, and she asks me, "I hope we will speak in Russian." And I see it as a bit of a frame war, frame battle. I see her trying to get frame, controlling where we are going to go, what language we are going to speak. So I made sure that I have to take the frame back. And what I did, I postponed the date for 10 minutes. I said, I'm going to be late. Let's meet 10 minutes later. And even then, I showed a few minutes late. Yeah, so I postponed it. And even then, I was late to get the frame back. Obviously, she mentioned that I'm late immediately. That's what Russian girls do. They're really princessy. And while on the date with this girl, I started thinking I should create an online course on how to date and sleep with Russian chicks. Because I've had quite many lays with Russian chicks, especially Russian tourists, or Russian origin chicks, not in Russia. I haven't been to Russia, I'm going there later, but right now I'm really intrigued about Russians. I really want to go to the source. I want to go to Russia and daygame there, which I'll go in late May, most probably in an open trip where anyone can join. So we go on a date and she can't decide whether she wants to drink or not because she has to study. She has like exam tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. And she's a really fast drinker. Like the number of drinks she had in short time was incredible. She was drinking fast. That was funny. But the good thing is, like 20 minutes, 10 minutes in a date, we are talking crazy shit. We are talking about sex and drugs, and we are making jokes about animals and how it's connected to sex, and like we're talking the craziest stuff that you can speak about 10-20 minutes in a date. And when we first start doing this, we laughed at, wow, those are crazy topics for 10 minutes in a date. And I say, yeah, well, we can get to that, back to that in an hour. But 5 minutes later again. So we did 2 drinks in one venue, went for another venue, which actually she suggested, but I had been to that venue and it was crowded, but it looked really nice, so I wanted to go there. We go there and I start escalating physically, and we're kind of almost cuddling up, and I know she's waiting for a kiss. I can see she's waiting for a kiss, and I know 100% I can go for it, and I intentionally don't go for it. I'm basically teasing her. I don't think she understood it, but I was teasing her. I was like, we were close, we were cuddling, we were touching each other, stroking like arms, legs, whatever. And I just didn't go for it. And again, we're starting to talk about movies, and I pulled her to watch some, I don't know, I don't even remember what. I think stand-up comedy or. But as soon as we get to mine, oh, and we pop in a store because she wanted to eat, obviously, and she wanted me to order sushi or pizza, and I said I'm not gonna do that because I'm not hungry and I eat healthy. Basically, I didn't want to spend more money on a date. I never spend too much money on dates. And I try to kiss her in a store and she doesn't go for it. And I was so, oh my God, you're such a player. But as we were riding up the elevator, she goes in for the kiss herself. As soon as we're in apartment, it's just kissing, kissing, kissing. She was basically a really big tease. She's almost dancing in front of me, talking dirty. It's just incredible. But what I noticed is she was teasing me, but she wasn't going for any physical escalation that I tried to do. Like if I really tried to make out, she wouldn't go for it. If I tried to take the top off, she wouldn't go for it. And she liked to be dominated. She liked to submit. At least she thought she did. So what I did, I didn't care that she said it. I used it. I told her, stand up, turn your back to me, sit in front of me, take off your top, da da da. And I gave her tasks to do. Do this, take off your bra. And as soon as she doesn't do it, I'm not giving her any attention. She doesn't deserve attention if she's not submitting. So we take a little break. Again, I tell, get up, turn your back to me, sit in front of me, take off your bra. Bam, bam, bam. And I'm giving her tasks and seeing how compliant she is. And I'm always rewarding her compliance, and I'm ignoring her when she's not compliant. And it escalates with me taking her by the hand and taking her to the bedroom. And I do not remember whether she already said she was on her period, which wasn't true, or she said it a bit later, but I basically went to the bedroom and I asked bed or the rug. And we start making out on the bed, and and then she says she has her period. So we stand back up, and I see she really likes to be dominated, and she wants to go for it. And I just am standing there, and I tell her, get on your knees. She gets on her knees in front of me, and I say, I take my dick out right in front of her face, and I say, no lips, only hands. She played a bit with her hands, and then I say, okay, put your hands behind your back. no hands, just your lips, and she's just compliant with everything. It's just unbelievable. But well, since she was on her period, I thought we weren't gonna have sex because I really don't like the period sex, not my thing. And we go to sleep, and as we're going to sleep, we're cuddling, and she's just grinding and being all horny and like, oh damn, I want you to fuck me so badly. No, 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 no. And at one point, she just asks, "Do you have a condom?" So I thought, oh fuck the period, I don't care about it. Took the condom, did the deed. She wasn't on her period. At least these were the first days. So yeah, no blood. Really nice sex. Turns out this was the second time in her life she had sex. She had only slept with one guy, and that was a year ago. And they were in a relationship, but after the sex, it broke up. They broke up, and she never had sex. Never had sex since then. So these were my first 3 days in Prague. And now let's finally get down to the question, why is the way we learn day games so much different from the best practices in day game and what actually works for experienced day gamers? The main difference between guys that are already good in day game and that are just learning, or girls that are struggling with girls in general, especially with opening girls, maybe not even on dates, is having balls, having a very, very strong frame. If you have a strong frame, you can tap a girl on her shoulder from the back and say in a very, like, I open in an apologetic voice. It's not a good thing for learning. I say, oh, I'm sorry. I really hope you do speak any English. And it's a bit of apologetic voice. And you can do that if you have strong frame. You can open from the back. You can open from the side. You can open in very many different ways if you have strong frame. If you have weak frame, you can be completely in front of girl. Like you can run around, do the all original London day game model stop. You can run completely in front of girl, try to stop her. She might just walk around you. The same girl will stop for a weak stop from a guy who has strong frame. I have thought about this a lot, and honestly, I don't know how to explain frame, and I don't know why experienced day gamers have it and inexperienced or new day gamers don't have it. It is something girls feel. It's not something they see. I don't know. They really, girls are really good at picking up your vibe, and they can immediately tell how strong your frame is. So if you have strong frame, you can do things very differently than if you have weak frame. And when I coach my students, one of the first tasks, well, when guys come for coaching, first day is the hardest day, and they don't know what to expect, and I just tell them, listen, if by the end of first day girls are stopping to talk to you, that's a good result for the first day. Because in the beginning, guys have really weak frame and girls just aren't stopping. I have to teach them how to stop girls properly. And how do I do that? It's very simple. I teach guys to open in a really aggressive manner. I teach them to act in a way as if they didn't give a fuck. Like if you do a real old school London day game model, open with running around the girl, being completely in front of her, your hand out, and just saying, hey, sorry, I know this is random, da 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 da. It's very, very aggressive. And if you do stops like that, like the real old school ones, girls will stop. And what happens is when you do those stops, it's very, very scary. It's very, very hard for a new day gamer to do them. And when you force yourself to do really aggressive stops, your vibe changes and you are actually learning frame. Learning to stop is about, yes, to learning how to actually do it technically, but it's about overcoming your fear to do an aggressive open. And each time you overcome this fear to do a really aggressive, crazy open, you improve your frame. Your frame becomes stronger. When I coach students, I say, listen, do an open. Well, first I say, imagine an open that is five times too aggressive. It's just too much. Well, they imagine it, and I say, okay, now go do that open. Be a completely stupid monkey that jumps in front of a girl. Do too much. And that immediately, once they do that open, that immediately puts them in a much better position, and girls start stopping. So let's compare a stop that is good for learning day game, and let's compare it to a stop that is actually a good stop that I use. Aggressive, very strong stop. Guy being 100% in front of a daygamer, running around the girl, arm out in front of him. When you see a stop like that, it's a dead giveaway that that guy is a daygamer. It's a stupid stop. In most cases, it's overly flashy. It attracts a lot of attention if you do it repeatedly in the same location, for example, a shopping mall. It is not necessary to stop a girl. I just stop girls on a shoulder from side or from behind. So when you're learning, doing an aggressive stop teaches you frame. It teaches you having balls. It's strong because of the action you are taking. To do it requires to grow some balls, which puts you in a much stronger state or frame. So even though the aggressive, completely in front of the girl running stop is too much, that's the stop you should be doing while you are learning day game. If your open to lay ratio is less than 60 opens to 1 lay, that's the only stop you should be using. You should not be experimenting with any other stops. Well, in reality, every day gamer does his stops a bit differently. All the good day gamers, they each have their style. Once you have a really good front stop, you don't really have to use it anymore, because once you have the frame, it's visible. Like, even if you open in a seemingly weak way, it still works and girls still stop. The exception is if you are in a city where everyone's just running somewhere and in a rush and they don't want to talk to anyone, or if a girl is walking really, really fast. Yeah, if she's really a fast walking girl, I really might get in front of her and stop her that way. But those are exceptions. In all the typical day game cities, you don't need that stop. But apart from stop, there are many other things that are different when you learn from when you're actually experienced and when your level of day game is pretty high. And as I've said many times before, it's high based on your results, based on your open to lay ratio, not because you think you're smart and you think what you're doing, because there are many guys like that whose open to lay ratios are really shitty, or who aren't taking stats because stats are for pussies. No. Yeah, they're just, most of them don't know what they're talking about. So going on iDates is another thing that's very, very different when you're learning day game and when you are good at day game. So when you are learning day game, going on an instant date, for those who don't know, is when you are opening a girl on the street, and instead of taking her number, you are offering her to go for a coffee. You're chatting with her a bit, you see she isn't going anywhere, she's not in a rush to work or whatever, and you suggest going for a drink. And when you are learning, it's a great way to learn to vibe with a girl. It's an opportunity to learn to tease, to build attraction and a little bit more comfort. That should be done by beginners to learn to run better sets. So as a beginner, you should actually go on Insta dates. You should go for those coffees with girls. Well, in reality, once daygamers get good, they know that the only reason to go on an instant date is if you have an opportunity for a same-day lay, if you have an opportunity to go from that instant date to go for a drink, to go for maybe one more drink, to pull her home and sleep with the girl. Because going on an instant date doesn't really increase the chance she will respond to your messages. So in reality, you only go for Insta dates when you can get a same delay, and you basically check out if she's really on, and you know that you don't have to be anywhere, you have time for same delay, you feel that she has some signs that she might be down for it an hour or two later. As a general rule of thumb, when should you go on instant dates if you're learning? If you're open to number ratio is less than 1 to 5, which means you have to open more than 5 girls to get one number, well, you should go for instant dates to practice talking to girls, to practice making them interested and having conversations with them. If you are getting one number out of 5 opens or better, well, you should only go for instant dates if you think there is a same delay opportunity. Don't waste your time. Okay, the next topic is going for a kiss on the first date, or always going for a kiss on the first date. Should you go for the kiss on every first date? And when I was learning daygame, for me, going for the kiss was very scary. It was so hard just to go for it, just to pull the trigger. So I forced myself to go for a kiss on every first date, even if the date was bad, even if it was certain she wouldn't go for it. I always went for the kiss on the first date, and I did it for two reasons. One is overcoming fear, and the second is showing my intent, showing what I want from her. I wanted to show a girl what my intentions were. A girl might not know what is it that you're looking for, what is it that you want from her, or how fast you want it. When you go for a kiss, she knows you like her as a girl, and well, you aren't a pussy. You have balls, you have frame, and I know what I want. I wanted to sleep with her, so I have to go for a kiss, and she can figure out whether she follows my lead or opts to go for a slower date with slower, safer boyfriend material guy. So I'm putting it out, I'm overcoming fear, I'm letting the girl know what's happening, and she can decide what she wants or doesn't want to do. Well, that's for learning, and that's how I think you should go about going for a kiss on the first date. You should always try to kiss a girl on the first date. Always. That's what you should do. In reality, right now, very often I go from kissing to having sex in a fairly short time. Maybe sometimes it's just a few minutes. It's like a fucking explosion. I like to build up the tension. I could have gone for the kiss a long time ago, just as in the story with the Russian chick, the submissive Russian chick. It's the same. I could have gone for the kiss a long time ago. I didn't. And since I'm building the tension up, once I go for it, it's an explosion. I go for a kiss in a bar very rarely. I never go for makeouts in a bar. Last time I went for a makeout in a bar, I went to my friend's wife's. She got a doctor's degree, and my friend's wife. And I went to the awards ceremony, and there were a lot of friends and a lot of people, and I started talking to one chick there that wasn't even from the same country. She came to the ceremony from another country to congratulate her friend, and we ended up going for drinks, and we already agreed that she's gonna stay at mine, because if she goes for drinks with me, she doesn't have anywhere to stay. So basically, it's on. And we went for the drinks, and we knew we were going to mine. We were both fucked up, and we just went for a makeout at the bar. But I never do that. Never. So unless your late to open ratio is 1 to 50, which means you have to, on average, you sleep with 1 out of every 50 girls you open, or better, always go for the kiss in a bar. But never, ever, ever go for a makeout. That's a very common beginner mistake. That's very often the reason beginners can't pull girls home. And since we got to the topic, let's talk about pulls. Let's talk about pulling a girl home fast. When I started seriously working on my dating skills, I was trying to pull home on second or third date. Well, that's after I turned 25. Before 25, I would set up dates at my place with girls I barely knew. I honestly don't know how that works. For example, I used to sell life insurance, and I had this lead. I had this chick that I went for a coffee to try to sell her life insurance. And we started texting, and I was cooking a cake, and it kind of turned from me saying that I'm cooking a cake to inviting her over for some cake, to her staying over, and I don't know how I did it, but it was magic. But that's not an effective way to actually game girls. It's filtering, and it will not work for the hottest girls for sure. But I thought the norm was to get laid on second or third date. But then I started experimenting. I started trying to pull on second dates. I started trying to pull on first dates. I started trying to pull just after one venue, and I was genuinely surprised to learn that it works. And if you want to see what's really possible, what I've learned through my experiments, then I put down a list with a bunch of crazy shit that's actually possible. Well, first is pulling girls consistently on first dates. And my late to date open ratio is 1 to 2, which means I sleep with every second girl I go on a date with. Next bullet point, brutally throat fucking a girl even before I have kissed her. Having anal sex on the first date, setting up threesomes with several girls I knew from daygame, having a threesome with 2 girls from a threeset, and both girls had the same name. Well, that's a sick story. Having a girl bring her girlfriend, introduce us just so that we could fuck. I mean, she didn't bring her friend over to introduce us for a date. No, she brought her friend over just so that I could fuck her friend. That's it. These are like crazy things that I've done, and there's like a long list, and there are some other ones that I wrote down from my wings and friends. Pulling home straight from the street. We had a story in the chat recently about a guy opening a girl, and with no bars, no nothing, pulling home for a same delay. I have a wing who was going home from a club, and as he's walking in his building, he sees this cute chick walking by. He opens her, and 10 minutes later, he's fucking that girl in his apartment. 10 minutes. Incredible. Next is inviting girls over to home parties even before they've had first date, and ending those parties as an orgies. For example, I know guys, one from Riga and one from, I don't know the Kiev guy, but I know the guy from Riga, and he did it with the guy from Kiev. They invited 8 girls over for a party, and they fucked 4 of them in that party in an orgy, and they do that all the time. I know a story about, and I've heard this like in first person from the guy who did it. He's a coach as well. He was riding a metro, and as he's standing next to a girl, he just takes this girl by the hand and starts walking outside the metro with this girl, and she's asking, "Where are we going?" And he just says, "We're going to my place." Ends up sleeping with the girl. And of course, some of you will like this last one. It's sleeping with the girl simply by walking up to her and offering to go and fuck her. That's it. Like your opener is, "Hey, let's go and fuck." I know a dating company that has a task. That's a task you have to do. You have to get a lay that way. Obviously, it's nowhere near the perfect strategy, and many of these things that are here in the list about what's possible, they aren't smart things to do, but I'm just showing you what's possible, what you can really do. Well, let's talk about how you should view it from the learning perspective and how it is in reality. Well, if you're learning day game, you should go for all the crazy shit just to see how the world really works. You can't say you are a red pill or whatever just because you've read a few books and you've done a few approaches and you've slept with a few girls. The deeper in day game or in game in general you go, the more you see how the world really works, and trying all the crazy shit, trying to go for it is a great way to learn it. Well, in the reality, when not you're learning, when you are experienced, you have to learn to calibrate. There is no right or wrong on dates. Once you get to a high enough level, you will have your own way to do things. Sometimes you'll pull home fast. Other times you'll finish the date after first venue just to have the second date at your place. I used to date this very cute, very beautiful teacher in Riga. And at the first venue, I realized it's not going to be LA. She has to go to another city later, so I didn't even continue the date. And I set up a second date at my place. We were cooking burgers, and we ended up sleeping on the third date. So it's a slow thing, but it's still we still got there. But again, about the calibration, about when you're learning, you should pull fast. What I do actually, even if I feel I can pull after one drink, I know I can do it. I don't have to do it anymore. I don't do it. I go slower. I want to make sure I pull. I don't want to miss the window of opportunity, but I don't have to use every opportunity to pull anymore. I know I can do it, but I know it's safer if I wait a little bit longer. But when you're learning, you should try to pull as soon as possible, just to explore, is it possible? Can I do it or not? Which brings us to the point of no return. Point of no return means you went so far escalating, a girl will not see you again in most cases. She will have a feeling she went too far. She will regret it. She will judge herself. Sometimes it's just going for a kiss. Sometimes if you kiss a girl, it's too much. Other times fingering is totally okay and she will still come out after that. Well, how should you view point of no return while you are learning day game? Well, first of all, follow the model. Yeah, follow the dating model. Seriously, the better you follow the model, the more often you will get delay. If you make out in a bar, it's usually past the point of no return. There is the London day game model, especially the dating part, doesn't suggest making out in a bar. I'll soon release a free course, well, at least for the first 1,000 people, it will be free on what to do on dates. And at no point it will say make out in a bar. If you escalate it smoothly and all of a sudden she changes her mind when she's topless at your place, most likely you're past the point of no return. Well, if you did the same, if you made out in a bar, that's stupid. But if you made out at your place and she's topless and she changes her mind, well, that's better. You probably did a lot of things right to get to your place and to get to this place. If the better you play the game, the better you follow the model, the higher the chances are that the evening will end with delay. So should you chill out and build more comfort? Or should you just push for delay? Or what should you do when a girl says, oh no, I changed my mind, not today, we won't have sex, I gotta go? Well, I had a friend from Lithuania. Some of you know him in the chat, and some of you know him in real life. And he used to live in Latvia for 6 months, and we were day gaming together. And when he was in Latvia, he pulled home like 12 girls and only slept with 2 of them. And one evening I was calling him and I was telling him a story about how I just had my lay number 50, my first lay with a black girl, and he told me a story how he pulled home a chick and again they didn't have sex. And I know he was experienced daygamer, so I didn't want to push my advice. I just told him, listen dude, whenever you're ready for it, just tell me and I'll tell you what's your mistake, why you are not getting delays. And whenever a girl said, we won't have sex tonight, he always took it literally and he never tried again. He didn't know he has to chill out a little bit, he can try again, he can do very many different things to overcome token last minute resistance. A girl very often will say, oh, we won't have sex tonight, but it doesn't mean it. You have to react, you have to see it how she is reacting. And if she says that, but 3 minutes later she's stroking your dick and getting it out, well, I don't think she meant it. Again, you have to understand that sometimes no, well, a strong no is no. When a girl says no, stop, that's a real no. I mean, it's that easy. Yeah, don't be that guy. Don't get me in trouble just for saying this in a podcast. But you have to understand that you have to chill out, then you can try again. You have to chill out, then you try again. You have to chill out, then you try again. If you try 3 times and it's still a no and you're not getting further in the escalation ladder, well, yeah, that's fine. And stop and don't try again. Don't be a dick. Don't be this pushy guy that's overly pushy. That's not calibrated. And I don't like, I don't think it's okay to try more than 3 times. It's just, if you're not advancing, like if you're trying to take her up top of 3 times and 3 times she says no, I think that's it. Like, don't be the pushy guy, don't go for it. And as soon as I explained this to him, he slept with almost every girl he pulled home after that. Well, in reality, you really learn to calibrate. The more experience you have, the better you learn to calibrate. And the better you play the game, the less chances of girl changing her mind are after point of no return. And if you feel she will not be up for it, well, you can get her to stay over. You can build comfort and not escalate further. That's a little trick I do. If I try, let's say 3 times for an escalation move, and all 3 times she says no, I will not try again. What I'll do is I'll finish watching the movie. I will offer her to stay over, explaining that chill out. I'm not 18 anymore. Doesn't mean we have sex. And I will not even try. Maybe I'll try something when we get to the bed. But again, if she isn't up for it, I won't push. I won't try too hard. But it's a very high level skill in my opinion, because if you do this right, well, if you are past point of no return, it's very likely that she won't come out again. But if you stop at the right moment and then you are a normal guy who isn't too pushy, boom, all of a sudden the door is still open. You can sleep with her on the next time. And this is what happened with my first layup this year. I had an Airbnb in Riga, and I went on a date with a cute Latvian girl with my first open of the year, because I had like 1.5, 2 months off from daygame. And I did my first open and I got her contacts and we ended up going on a date, and I thought, oh, this would be great. Like, starting a year with one open, one lay, that would be just amazing. And we go on a date and we end up at my place and we are already in bed. And we are already like, she's giving me a hand job, I'm fingering her, and it's like, nope. Like, she doesn't let me take off her panties several times, and I just, okay, well, that's it, let's go to sleep. And we go to sleep, and 2 days later we met at her place for cooking some vegan pizzas and drinking Belgian beer, and boom, first lay of the year. So now you see that there are very big differences between how we learn day game or how I coach day game, and what actually works for me and other good day gamers. First, when you are working on your opening skills and your day game sets, then that's where you do really aggressive opens, just so that you learn to have a strong frame. And then it all comes down to learning the model, getting really, really good at it. And very big difference between how I teach my students to do it and how I do it myself. That's why when I finished coaching the student on the day when he saw me pull a girl, I told him, listen, I'm gonna do my sets. You can watch them, you can listen to them, but take into consideration the sets I do will be different from the demo sets I did while I was coaching you. So be careful when learning from them. Don't copy paste everything, but if you want to see how it works, Let's go, I'll show you while I do my sets. Well, that's what I wanted to tell or talk about in this podcast. And as you notice, a lot of the stuff that I talk on the podcasts comes from the questions I get or I see discussed in our Daygame church Telegram group chat. So if there are any questions you want to ask or anything you want to discuss, then you can join our group chat. We are over 100 guys there from all over the world, literally like every continent. Well, and you can join our group chat by going to my website, saintrobert.blog, and there is a form to join the group chat, or you can just join the mailing list, and in the welcome email you will get a link to join the group chat. So I have a coaching student in 10 minutes, so I'll get ready and go out because I'm in Prague until the end of this week, and then I'm going on a trip to Canada and USA, Chicago, New York, before I get back to Prague in late February to coach a student here for 2 weeks. So I have a lot on my plate. Thank you for listening, guys. And if you have any comments or questions, etc., ask them in the Telegram group chat. Bye.